I think definitely hearing the stories of the other people at Jericho, just hearing their testimonies and how far God has brought them in their lives, and how they came from broken homes, broken families, broken relationships, from shame and hurt, but how God has healed them. And it's really been really impactful to me to hear that because of my own struggles and because of my own testimony and my own things that have been hurting me as well. And it's been really impactful to be able to share my testimony with them, and to be able to see how that has helped them to hear my own testimony.
I was able to break down a wall that I had inside of me, and it was just really blocking God from fully entering my heart and just really impacting me. And before the trip, I was just thinking about getting baptized. And now after I've gone to Honduras, I really know that it's something that I want to do, and I want to have that for me as I walk through life with God. Throughout the week, everyone on the team shared their testimonies, as well as a bunch of kids that were at the Via, and it was just really cool to see how God just removed all the fear and any shame or worries from everyone when they were sharing their testimonies. And it was so cool how they were able to just get what was on their heart, just get rid of it and bring it to God.
I feel like God has really moved in the hearts of the Cedars team and through their hearts as well. And one of the things that's really touched me is just to see how God's love is poured through the team to our children, and how God's really used them.
Before this trip, I was still really skeptical about trusting in God's plans for me. But I think I really learned that you have to take a leap of faith in order for God to work through you, and you have to trust that His plans are the right thing to do. I really saw God working through me at the dump, because even though we were literally on top of a pile of garbage and it was dirty and there were vultures everywhere, you could still really feel the Holy Spirit working there. And I found it really easy to pray for people, and it was God was pointing out the people that needed prayer. I thought that was a really cool thing.
At the retreat, I got to share a bit of my story, and I was also prayed over, and I was anointed with oil, and it was a really freeing experience. I got to, I feel like I'm just a lot closer with God right now. I really felt blessed being able to work hard and give my gifts to the Lord. I'm a pretty mechanically inclined person. I like to get my hands dirty, and it was so great to work on the building there and work with my hands and glorify the Lord through that.
While I was in Honduras, I really felt God made a change in my life. He helped me to notice the things that weren't important anymore, and He helped me get rid of those things, and then from that I was able to grow in my relationship with Him. The kids in Jericho come from very interesting and very different backgrounds. Most of the backgrounds that they come from, we can't really comprehend because it's just insane. We don't understand what they have to go through. But every kid there has found the love of God, and it has just shown so much. Even though they've gone through so much hardship in their life, they've just completely given their life for God, and they trust Him so much. And that's just really a testimony of God's faith, because it's just really amazing to see how He has taken them from these situations where who knows what could have happened if they were still there, and He was able to change it around and use that for good, and even show His light through them.
I know you're near. I want to see you, Jesus, move in power and cast out fear. I need to hear you now. I need to know it's you. I'm standing on your promises. I know your word is true. You're bigger than what I see. It's you in exchange for me. 'Cause even the impossible can be reality. Jesus, I believe. Jesus, I believe. I want to say what you're saying, speaking life to what is dead. And I wanna cling to you, Jesus. Ooh, hanging on your every breath. I need to hear you now. I need to know it's you. I'm standing on your promises. I know your words are true. You're bigger than what I see, and it's you in exchange for me. 'Cause even the impossible is your reality. Jesus, I believe.
One day in Honduras, we went to the dump to minister to people there. And when we were there, it was really cool because as we were ministering, a big truck of garbage came and they went to go dump it off. And instead of the people who were listening to us to go leave and to go look through it so they could find money and things that they could use, they stayed and listened to the gospel, which was very cool to me to see that they wanted to listen and they had that thirst to know what God was and who He was and how He could help them. Even the kids at the Via, they were really joyful considering their circumstances and what most of them have come from. Seeing them how joyful and happy they were there was really cool to me, that God can just be joyful in even the worst and the hardest places.
One thing that impacted me in Honduras was going to the dump. It was really overwhelming, like the smell and like just being there. I thought it would be different. I thought it'd be more dark and like there'd be piles, like huge piles of trash and stuff, but it wasn't. It was actually really hot, and it wasn't. There wasn't as big of piles as I thought there would be. It was. As soon as I got out of the van, I saw this lady sitting on it. I think it was a truck, and she was crying, and I was just really sad because I thought digging for trash would be easy, but I guess it's not. And just seeing her cry and sit there lonely, it was really sad. As we were doing the worshiping and just like observing what was happening, I just prayed for that lady a lot, and I prayed for a couple other people. This was my second year going to Honduras, and going back was an amazing experience again, and being with the kids again was amazing. It just made our the bond with each other stronger, and it was harder to leave them again, but it was still all worth it.
So some people may ask, why should I even join Travel Studies 11? It's a 7 o'clock in the morning class. It's a lot of work for 2 weeks going to Honduras. And I just have to say to them, this is something we've been doing for 5 years as a school. It has brought in over 70 kids and many adults, and it truly does change lives. I think you can't earn anything in life, see any fruit without any work, and without sometimes a change of a heart. And I think that Honduras, the trip to Honduras goes a long way to starting a change of heart. And one of the things that has impacted me the most are the relationships with the children and with Elvia and Betsy. And I think, people also may ask why I keep going back to the same ministry. And I think that if you understand the background of the children, the abandonment and rejection that they may have felt in their lives, we want to keep building on that relationship. We want to keep telling them, you're worth our time and you're worth our love and attention. And so this is a relationship, and that's why we keep going back. But we also keep going back because one of our goals as a school is to have students understand what it is to be in Christian service. And this is another way for us to be able to show our love to others through what we do.
So it has been 5 years that we have been doing this mission trip to Honduras, and every year God just blows me away. I have been privileged to be a part of Jericho for 13 years, and 5 of them have been here at Cedars. And what an honor to be able to take teens and parents and teachers from this school, from this community, and take them down to see what God's doing in Honduras. As some people have mentioned already, the children who live at the Villa are rescued from the streets, from the most horrific circumstances, and yet have found the love of God in this place. And it's a beautiful experience for us to be able to go down, not just once and then walk away, but have a continued relationship with them that's lasted already 5 years. And one of the most amazing things for me is when we show up in the bus and we open the doors and the kids are looking for us to see who came this year. They're really excited to see new faces, and they love to see the kids, like from our students, who are coming for the second or third time. It's just that excitement of what's God gonna do in this week with the Cedars team. And every time he's just blown us away with the games, with the work that's done, with ministering, the devotions, different sharing times. He just never ceases to amaze me and amaze everybody there. Our teams also have the spiritual growth experience. They do get to go see God in a new way as they're removed from their normal circumstances here in Canada. We try to prepare them before we go to minister to the children there by going through testimonies and talking about some of the struggles that we've had in our lives. And it really works to bond the team before we go, but also helps us to minister to the kids there. We do understand that we have the same God, even though we're in different countries, cultures, and languages. Same God, and we have the same enemy. And so our sharing of our stories and hearing the stories of the children there have impacted us both. It's been a mutual blessing. We do teen retreats, and our students are able to minister to their students and their students to us, and everybody gets to grow. It's been an awesome, amazing blessing for me to be a part of this and to see that God's kingdom is not a kingdom of borders and languages. It's a kingdom of this whole world, and He does what He wants to. He brings people together that He wants to bring together, and it's all for His glory.
Jesus, I believe. Help my unbelief, God. Jesus, I